Thank you for having me. I hope so. I'll get away from that microphone. Cool. So, a couple months ago, I saw this infographic it was on Hacker News or something, and it highlights the most popular jobs in the US across various states since way back when. And this starts off in 1978. So we see secretaries, farmers, truck drivers, all that kind of good stuff. We move forward 20 years, and we see that globalization has kind of come in, right? We have a lot more truck drivers, less secretaries, still a few farmers, but we have a computer analyst all the way at the right, which is pretty amazing, right? For 1998, that the most popular job in that particular state is computer analyst. We move forward another, almost 20 years. We start seeing software developers being the most popular job. Imagine that. You live somewhere and the most popular job is software development. That's amazing. And it's a real testament of how far we've come. I created my first website in 1995, and I thought I was doing something wrong then. In 2005, I thought web design was still not a real profession. And here we are, and it's this, this amazing job, amazing opportunity, and everybody can relate to it and understand. If you say, oh, I do web design, everybody kind of understands, even if they don't understand the technical aspects of it. And WordPress is a really, really big part of that, right? Especially in the last 10 years, WordPress has helped push what we do on a day-to-day basis in ways that we can't imagine. It's 28% of the internet today, which is really a feat that you can't, comprehend or even predict, 20 years ago. But at the same time, I can't help but wonder, if it hasn't come at a cost, right? So when we go online and we look at a website, sometimes we can tell when it's built on WordPress, right? We can look at it and say, this is WordPressy, right? And I'd like to show you an example of that, and this is a popular theme on WordPress.org, one of the free themes. I'm not trying to pick this one out. It just happens to be the one that was up there. But a lot of them look like that, right? And in the top left, you have the logo. In the top right, you have the navigation. Then you have a big hero image, a tagline, call to action, secondary call to action. And then you start going down the page, and you have blog posts. The blog posts have meta, right? And then the meta has comments. And then we get down to the footer, and then we have the terminal footer with all the beautiful social media links that everybody clicks on, right? So this is, the traditional WordPress website that you can say, yeah, that looks like WordPress. But there's also another part to this page. Okay, click again. Here we go. The sidebar. How many people here have actually worked inside sidebar.php? Few. Oh, yeah, okay. So for those of you who don't know what sidebar.php is, it's a file that gives you the illusion of needing something you don't need at all. Okay? So you have this website, and you're like, oh, this looks empty. What should I do? Throw some widgets in there, right? And then make it a bit busier, and I can charge the client some more. It's kind of like that, right? But what I'd like to show you today, because I can prove it now, is that sidebar is pure evil, right? It's the devil itself. So let's prove that. Let's take the most useless widget out of all, archives, right? It's always there. Now, if you zoom in, and you can do this on any theme, doesn't matter. You zoom in, you go in a little further. From here on, you enhance the image a bit more, and an image starts to come together, right? But jokes aside, WordPress has, the ecosystem that we're in, be it WordPress itself or the community or whatever, it sometimes drives or funnels the design or the decisions we make a lot. It has a lot of influence, right? And web design has evolved. It's changed a lot over the years. It's not that simple anymore. My microphone's coming in and out. Cool. So it's something that's evolved quite a lot over the years. Web design has gone from something that's purely aesthetic and informative to being functional, right? It's part of our day-to-day lives. Imagine this website if it was a pure HTML form, like a contact form, like a gravity form or something like that. And you're like, oh, I'd like to request an apartment somewhere. It wouldn't really work, right? The modern website is JavaScript powered. It's taking in data from various APIs, pushing it to other APIs, and is very rich when it comes to interaction. Even the smallest of things, even like the Facebook like button, has evolved to become something much larger, with this range of emotions and micro interactions, which is really, really amazing. So I think the perspective that I'd like to take is that WordPress is a tool amongst other tools, right? It's not something where we have WordPress, and then we have a theme, and then we have plugins, and we bundle that all together, and it lives somewhere off the reservation somewhere else, right? It's not part of the web. It's somewhere completely different. That's not really how it works, or not how it's supposed to work. So what I'd like to propose to you today is that moving forward in WordPress is actually a lot about moving out of WordPress. So this is the traditional website, right? With you have your front end, that's a WordPress theme. You can add all your widgets, right? That's glorious. WP admin is there, and the website is easily enhanced through plugins and themes. And last but not least, yeah, so we'll just leave it at that. If we go a step further, we can start looking at WordPress as a publishing platform. So not just like a website builder, but as a publishing platform, right? So that's taking a step back and saying, the main entry point for WordPress in this regard, or the interface, is really WP admin. And when you think about WordPress, that is actually WordPress. It's WP admin. So users of WordPress are the ones who log in the back. They're not the ones who are on the front end, your customers or whatever, website and visitors. It's really the people who create content. So in that regard, you're really taking WordPress for its content management powers, not its theming powers, if you want. So from there on out, we're able to push all that content out with the WordPress REST API, which is great because it offers endpoints that so many other tools and frameworks and libraries can connect to. One of these examples is we run a conference called the Day of REST. It's actually a REST API conference. And we have a website for that. And we just set up a simple one-pager. Well, it's almost like a one-pager, I guess. But what it does is it's built on WordPress, and then it's decoupled. So that means that the REST API is connected to React. And React then displays all the information, which means when someone clicks on any of the links, it instantly loads without a whole page refresh. So this is a very, very simple example. It's up on GitHub too, so it's all open if you want to use it. But that's a very basic example of what you can do. And to sort of diagram it out, this is the way it's done. We have custom post types, post pages, all of that stuff feeds in. Now, if we go a step further, and remember we had the regular website, we have a publishing platform, we can go a step further to an application platform, whereby WordPress is really pushed a lot further down. It's used for its foundation, if you want, that it has, be it like users, authentication, light administration screens, but data can be ingested from various places and then pushed back out, and WordPress just becomes the data highway. It's like the hub of data, if you want. So from there on out, you can really do anything you want at that point. So I'd like to show you a couple examples. Happy Tables is something that we've built and participated in that is, or it used to be a website builder, right? But it has graduated to be an aggregation of various restaurant technology that exists out there. So if someone has a point of sale, they have online ordering, reservations, we bring it all together into a single dashboard so that everybody can see inside of the restaurant. So now the form, is that necessarily still a website? Or is that a website that's displayed on a tablet that hangs on a wall? Is that then a dashboard? It takes a different form, right? We also power emails through that data. So every day, all the servers that work and the waiters or waitresses in the restaurant in the morning receive an email telling them, how well they performed compared to everybody else in their group the day before. So they're getting, not necessarily real-time information about their performance, but it's as near time as it gets, I guess, in that regard, which is really, really, really valuable for them. It's something that's delivered as an email, and it's not a website. So WordPress is really being pushed to this completely different form, I guess, because it just sits at the very, very bottom, being the engine that powers everything else. Nomad Base is another example of an app we built, whereby location-independent people can find out, or digital nomads can find out where other people are in the world right now. So this is a single-page application. In this case, this has ingested all my data from Foursquare, mapped it out on a map, and that's cool and all, so I can see my own travel map, but then I can also see where everyone else is in the world, which is pretty cool. And the green dots represent my friends. But again, this is not just a single website with like a little header and a call to action, and yeah, I'm going to put in a sidebar and all that kind of stuff. It's a single-page application that has a purpose and is trying to achieve something. And again, here, we're ingesting from various places, storing lots of the stuff as custom post types or a separate table completely. And then we're pushing it to various places, be it React with Mapbox, which you just saw, be it to Slack, or even React Native, because we have a mobile app now. So that's feeding off WordPress, which is pretty amazing. This is also a cool example. This Hidetaka is from the Japanese community, and he's hooked up his Amazon Echo to WordPress as a data source. He's a bit crazy, so I'm not quite sure what he's going to do with it. We'll have to find out over time what happens in Japan. So with all these examples and things you can build, I think the opportunities are quite endless in that regard, because WordPress it really takes on the form you want it to. Right? As opposed to looking at how does the community use WordPress, okay, I should use it that way. So to really have an open mind going forward about how to use WordPress in the best way possible, this is what I recommend. The first thing is learn JavaScript. If you want to communicate with REST APIs, if you want to create extensive interaction on your website and provide the best possible experience, learn JavaScript. We're all going to have to. If you're a developer today, you have to learn JavaScript. I don't think there's a way around that, especially if you work with WordPress and you're on the front end. Secondly, start with the end in mind. So again, move away from that boxed-in idea of, okay, I have a theme, and now I have to fill out the theme with these different plugins and widgets and make it look full. Start with the actual need, so that you're really just satisfying the minimum amount of design functionality or whatever it is that you need to solve that problem. And lastly, a nice little challenge, try to make WordPress invisible. Try to make it so that someone can't even tell that you've built something using WordPress. In this case, this is a little Slack bot that we have in Slack, where I can just type in where is for any user, and then we can see, okay, so-and-so is here and there. And that's, again, powered by WordPress. So to summarize my talk, really, it's really to say that WordPress is really a tool that is part of others in a much larger ecosystem with really exciting but yet powerful technology that's out there. React is big. Vue is getting there. D3 is big. There's a lot of JavaScript out there, which is really amazing and can be very well combined with WordPress. So WordPress itself, I think, doesn't have to change. It's the way that we use it that does. Thank you.